Hello, welcome back to Paul's Stuff, my channel where I talk about everything I love. Lots of Star Wars, lots of lightsabers, and today's no exception to that. We have a lightsaber to look at. I've bought another lightsaber from Padawan Outpost here in the UK. Great seller, recommend them. Link to their store in the description. And today I want to look at this little fella. This is Padawan Outpost's Yo 1. It's a Yoda inspired lightsaber made by the Chinese company LGT. Comes in several different versions. You can get this in, I believe, in baselit, Xenopixel, which is what this one is, and in Profi. If you look at the different sections on their website. First of all, the one defining feature of this saber is its size. It's tiny compared to other sabers. Should have got one off the wall, but I'll do that and just give you a comparison. So yeah, let's look at this next to an Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4. You can see how much smaller this Yoda lightsaber is, which is, you know, Yoda's a little fella, isn't he? So that's going to be the case. So it's a really nice saber, really nicely built, great chromed finish, metal. I've put a Hero blade plug from Saber Armory in this particular one. I have cut it down a little bit so that it sits flush with the top of the emitter. As I said before, this has got Xenopixel electronics in it. They've got my usual custom sounds on here for things like turning on, turning off, charging. And yeah, it's a lovely little saber. So before we get into looking at it working, I just wanted to show you a few things about it that you'll need to know. So it does come on a sort of custom chassis. It's not too customized, but it is slightly different chassis to what you'll find in the other sabers, purely because of the size of it, I think. So you have here battery. This has a custom battery wrap on it from again from Saber Armory. Now, the one thing I have found with this, because of the size of the chassis, there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of. So if you want to change the battery, or if you want to access the SD card, you do need to take the chassis out. With the chassis out, you can access the battery. To access the SD card, you do have to separate the two halves of the chassis. You have to take the top off so that you can slide the card out. So customizing the sounds and things on this one is maybe a little more tricky than the other sabers that I have, simply because you have to take the core apart to get at the SD card. Now with that in mind as well, one of the things that I found with this saber is that it comes with a really lovely 28-inch 7/8 inch diameter blade. This is NeoPixel one, so has the NeoPixel connector at the end. Now, to give you some idea of the length of this, this is the standard 36-inch blade that comes with these sabers. You can see how much shorter this blade is. And therein lies the reason for me talking about it now when I've just talked to you about accessing the SD card. Because when I got this, the SD card was set up for a 36-inch blade. And with the Xenopixel, you can go into the set folder and the config file in the set folder, and you can set the length of the blade, which is important in terms of getting the tip drag effect. And when this comes, I believe that the number that you use in the config file is the number of LEDs in the blade. Well, this was set up for a 36-inch blade, and it had 132 as the figure set for the blade length. What you need to set it at in order for it to work correctly with a 28-inch blade is 99. So you do have to access that card to do that, and that means that you do have to take the core out, and you do have to undo the halves of the core to get at the card. So you do need to be fairly confident with taking a lightsaber from this manufacturer apart before you can make any of those changes. Once you do, fantastic little lightsaber. I've also added, as you're aware, my policy now is when I get a character saber like this, what I mean by character saber is a saber that belongs to a character in the films. I like to put on sound fonts that just relate to that character and the films that we see them in. So this being Yoda's lightsaber, I've put in 4 sound fonts that are reflective of Yoda and his appearances in episodes 2 and 3. So the first sound font I have on here is Kyberphoic's Little Green Friend, set up with quotes from Attack of the Clones, episode 2. Then I've got KSith's Grandmaster, also set up with quotes from Attack of the Clones. I've then got Kyberphoic's Little Green Friend again, but this time set up with quotes from Revenge of the Sith. And then lastly, I have the teacher from, I believe, it's a company called Reaver's Arsenal. Now this is actually one of the fonts that comes with Xenopixels when you get them. It's one of the sound fonts that's preloaded onto the Saber. So if you didn't want to go into the SD card, or you're not confident enough to get into the SD card, you can actually set this Saber up with a Yoda sound font straight out of the box. That doesn't address the issue with the blade length settings. So let's have a look at this a little bit more and see what it looks like with the blade in and lit. So you have 3 retaining screws for the blade. This is the blade plug. It's a lit PCB for the connector in the emitter, so again you only need a base lit blade plug for it. No need to stretch for a NeoPixel blade plug. The blade fits in nicely, and as always I would only recommend, if you've got, like this has 3 screws that are set at 90 degrees from each other, I wouldn't tighten the 2 that are opposite one another, simply because that can form a fulcrum that the blade can then pivot on, and you may get some blade movement from actually tightening the blade. So there it is with the blade in. Lovely little lightsaber. It's a very handy little lightsaber actually. Let's turn it on. Get my custom turn on sound. And then all the same functions that you'd normally get with a Xenopixel lightsaber from LGT. Nice bright green blade set up for this one. Blaster block. Lock up. Flash on clash. And tip drag. I don't know if you can see those effects. The effects sharp and white on these blades. I think the green blade's fairly good for showing them. Now it's the tip drag that you won't get out of the box because it's set up for a 36-inch blade, so the tip drag effect effectively is happening out here somewhere. As always with my sabers, they're set up with quotes for the force effect on them.
The dark side clouds everything. Impossible to see. The future is.
So quotes from Yoda. Has all of the gesture controls that you get with Xenopixel. So this one's only set up with twist on, twist off. That's what I like. You can also set it up for stab on, stab off, and swing on. Again, you need to access that SD card to do those, to change those. It does come with them set on out of the box, but if you want to turn them off, you're going to have to access that SD card again. If you hold it upright and twist it to the left, you get soundtracks, and it will play whatever soundtracks are on here in the order that you put them on the SD card. So you have to number them and it will play them in that order. Changing sound fonts.
Master Yoda.
So you hold the button down for 4 seconds. That changes the sound font. This is the KSith sound font, Grandmaster. Quite responsive.
The dark side.
Tackle the tone
Everything.
quotes again. Blaster block. Lock up. Tip drag. One thing that I don't see talked about very often with these is that you can actually change the sound fonts in the opposite direction by holding the saber down and twisting it to the left.
Master Yoda.
So now this has gone back to the first sound font that we had on here again. So that's the Yo one from Padawan Outpost. Great little lightsaber. Little bit of a novelty, I guess, being Yoda's lightsaber and being so small, but it's a lovely little lightsaber if you fancy getting yourself one. Great little lightsaber. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please consider giving it a like. My apologies today, I've been ill this week. I may not sound very clear, but I'm getting better now, so hopefully on the mend. Yeah, if you like the video, please consider giving it a like. If you like the content, then consider subscribing to the channel. Hitting the bell icon will get you notified as to when new videos are posted. Links to all of the places that I buy Saber stuff from are in the description below if you're interested in those. Yeah, that's the end of this video. So the Yo one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.